feel that there is a role for it as a routine, but if you have the right criteria, I think it's a wonderful procedure. So I'm a big advocate for it, for the right procedure, and I just wanted to give you that bias. My mentor was Melvin Joss, who was a founding member of AOFAS and founding editor of Foot and Ankle International from the Orthopedic Institute Hospital for Joint Disease. Here he is with the Schmoglers, the famous Schmoglers. Here he is talking to me about the founding of the Foot Society. And this is the founding members of the Foot Society in 1969, which they got together in Mel's apartment. And Nathaniel Gould, Gene Estris, Mel Joss, Robert Joplin, Kalikian, and Dr. Lapidus, and Paul Milgram. And this is that him saying that he basically said, we all love foot and we all loved each other. And that's what he thought was so special about the Foot Society. He did a lot for the foot and ankle community by starting the journal, by publishing his textbook. He was a great guy, a great passionate teacher, and that's the hospital that I trained in. He took over for Paul Lapidus, who founded the Foot Service. It was like the first foot service in the country, and he was an advocate for many different procedures, but was a big fan, obviously, of the procedure that bears his name. I want to give a shout out to Ted Hansen, who was my mentor for 3 months during an AO scholarship that I did during my residency, and he was a big advocate of the Lapidus procedure. Don Baxter was also my fellow mentor for a year. He did Lapiduses, but he was a very eclectic thinker and did lots of different procedures. Tom Clanton was a Mannite and did not do the Lapidus procedure, but taught me a lot about when to do the other osteotomies and how to do it more aggressively. And Mike Coughlin was another mentor of mine, although I didn't study with him. I studied with him as a young resident and attending. I would listen to him and learn from him, and he has a very good insight on the Lapidus. And my partner, former partner, Mark Meyerson, who was my my fellow when I was a R2 at Joint Disease, and then we became partners at Union. Here's Steve Haddad and Steve Weinfeld. So Mark did a lot also for the Lapidus procedure. So what is, in my mind, the kind of ideal case for a Lapidus procedure? Well, it's somebody who has a foot like this, somebody who has a bunion, severe Hallux Valgus, and this is their other side, and they have that pinched callus, they have medial prominence, they have also, you can see a low arch, and you can see even a callus underneath the arch. And this is not your standard bunion. And if you see the x-rays on this, guys, you'll get a sense that this flat foot is due to a drop in the first metatarsal, at the first metatarsal cuneiform joint, and that becomes an indication for doing a Lapidus procedure in my hand. So even though this joint does not look that bad, on the lateral view, it showed that it was shifted in a dorsal direction, dorsally angulated. So I will talk about the Lapidus procedure in its original form, and also give you my indications for it, cover some of the biomechanics, some of the anatomy, and some of the literature on the procedure. I'll also go through different technical issues and then open it up to discussion. So the goal with the Hallux, and by the way, this is an animation that I made. I know for some people this may be offensive or maybe too suggestive, you know, the kind of GIF that you might see on a website you shouldn't be on. But I thought this really demonstrated, how come you guys know what I'm talking about? But this really demonstrates, I think, the role of the Lapidus procedure, correcting it at the first MTC joint. It stabilizes the joint, you get a really good correction, and if you have looseness or arthritis there, it could be wonderful. So the indications: hypermobility, instability, arthritis, failed Hallux Valgus. So here's a case of instability, and you see this is a medial shift, and this is one of my cases, and you can see I put the arrows in to emphasize where it shifted over. And you can see the evidence of the instability, and this was an old x-ray, that's why it's kind of, I colored it like that because I took it off a regular film, but you can see the evidence of the instability, second, third, fourth, and fifth stress fractures. So that's pretty clear. It was before vitamin D was invented, so I think that patient was vitamin D deficient. Instability, another case here, you can see very wide IM angle, and you see the stress fractures of second and third, and there was a subluxation dislocation cooking at 4 as well. You can make that out in the picture at the fourth MTP joint. So again, bad instability. Another case, and this is a combination case. You can see the red arrows show the little bit of arthritis at the MTC joints of 1 and 2. You see that eccentric closing of the space medially at the first and at the second as well. The medial aspect is narrowed. So it's a little bit of both. Here's one that's more overtly arthritic, and you can see the narrowing here. Here's one where I highlighted these x-rays. The x-ray on the bottom is the regular one, but I outlined the bone in this